Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Mystic Scales and Fae
And Fae
Tales
Tales podcast.
podcast. I'm your host, Leigh,
And I'm your host, Jennifer.
and today we are continuing our journey through the Shadow and Bone Grishaverse with Leigh Bardugo's first series. We have a full-length episode ahead. We're on book 2, Siege and Storm. And once again, we are breaking this down. We broke down Shadow and Bone into 2 parts, so we're breaking down Siege and Storm into 2 parts. So welcome to part 1.
Which is crazy because we should have broke down Six of Crows in 2 parts because we're having not as much of a fun time as Six and Crows. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. So yeah, this is part 1 of Siege and Storm. Like Leigh mentioned, we did this for Shadow and Bone. We're going to do it for Run and Rising for the last title as well. We read this a little backward. We read Six of Crows first, and then now we're reading Shadow and Bone. So feel free to join us on our book club on the app Fable. We are Mystic Scales and Fae Tales podcast on there. You can just look up Fae Tales. Again, the app is called Fable. And you can join us as we read and like see our comments and fan art and all the fun stuff as we're going along, and then come here for the review. So it's an interesting thing to go backwards from an writer's journey.
Yeah.
But we actually yeah, you're gonna say the same thing. Go ahead. You're gonna say I know exactly what you're saying.
It feels like we did the right thing.
We did.
And I think we got like author confirmation that it was the right thing, because this is a little bit of a spoiler, but we went to BookCon. Many thoughts, and we're gonna talk about that later. But we went to BookCon and we had a panel with Leigh Bardugo, which was crazy cool. And she kind of was just like, yeah, like, Shadow and Bone, you can skip that. Like, let's talk about Six of Crows.
She said it in a really nice way, though.
She did.
When she first started out, she felt like she was mimicking things that she already read. And so she's seeing her journey go through writing, and she's really, really proud of Six of Crows. And she loved Shadow and Bone because, you know, the TV show and what it brought her. And she said, like, she loved the crew and she loved the cast, and it was an amazing project to work on, and it, you know, took a lot, but it was like really fulfilling. So I think that Shadow and Bone still has like a love in her heart, obviously, but it feels more like she sees it as a universe now rather than like the individual books.
Yeah.
So it's like the Grishaverse as a whole. But you could tell, yeah, like obviously most of the panel was about Six of Crows as well. That was primarily her focus, and you know, they even asked if she wanted to continue it, and she said, like, you know, that the show took a lot of her energy out, so she wants to like take a step back before entering the Grishaverse again. But then the moderator kind of made a joke about how she does things in 3s, because she did Shadow and Bone in 3, she's doing her new one in 3s. So they're like, you could always make a third Six of Crows one. So there's always that option. So maybe she will, and she also is coming out with like, she has Letters from Ketterdam coming, which is like a little short story. So there's stuff that's like always fueling the Grishaverse. And I think that once she like takes some time off, like away from the idea of it, like maybe it'll come back to her. And I think that she even mentioned that she had other heist ideas in her head too. So
yeah, she said like she has basically the idea for the next one if she were to ever come back to it, which is cool. I mean, I love that they kind of like the characters like live in her brain and are like doing things, it seems like, and if she just decides to like put pen to paper, like they're ready to go. But I think she was very well spoken in how she explained her relationship to the text and everything, and I really appreciated that she talked about the show and like she had value for the show, but she said it like changed her relationship to the work. So that's so interesting, and we could probably talk all day about just that. But
well, once we see the show, I think we'll be able to also you know, go into it and see what she means by that more. And I'm sure that's probably just like the journey of her fight for the show, you know, with the not great streaming service that took it, which sucks. I think that when the show was starting out, you know, Netflix was more in its prime, so like it's just the way that cards fell, and it's unfortunate. But she did say that they were very receptive because she's like, fantasy shows are a big budget, and like they took a big swing
Mhm.
on this and doing
Mhm.
Shadow and Bone, because no matter even had no budget, it's still a budget to do a fantasy show, and they still took a swing on it. And even when they came back for season 2, and it was her. She said her and her team pitched it to include Six of Crows in Shadow and Bone season 2, and they said yes, and they took an even bigger risk. Um, and so it makes it even more unfortunate that the show did get canceled, but
Right.
I think that it's understandable for her to feel like her idea of the work has changed. And I think it's also hard. Like, I know people say, like, she should have just done Six of Crows, and I mean, again, we haven't watched the show yet, so we'll see our opinions after. But I would see that as hard relating to the text after that, when you could feel the difference in the two. They're the same world. They feel like the same world,
Mhm.
but you can feel the
Mhm.
difference in the storytelling from Shadow and
Mhm.
Bone to Six of Crows, and the characters and everything. Like, to
Yeah.
try to even the idea of developing a TV show where the main character has like antlers coming out of their body. I mean, other than that, other Netflix sort of did that. Like,
Yeah.
already is like a hard pitch. So
Right.
yeah, I could see like
Yeah.
that changing. Like, she probably had to do a lot of sacrifices and thoughts of things.
Mhm.
So I get it.
Mhm. Yeah. This is a random thought, and it might be in Shadow and Bone. I don't know if it's in Siege and Storm, but she mentions a character, and I think his name is Jep. Do you think that's supposed to, like, was that like pre-Jesper? I don't know if you even caught
Is
it.
that Jesper's dad? Is he a Jorda farmer?
No, he was like he wasn't a sharpshooter, but he had very similar like characteristics to Jesper, and I was like, is she alluding to, but it doesn't, like, the timeline doesn't add up.
I don't think so, because I think that she even mentioned that, like,
I feel
they
like
like came to her differently. Like, I don't like she wasn't they mentioned on the panel that she wasn't planning to write Six of Crows in the thought of Shadow and Bone.
yeah.
Like, when she was
So
talking about when she pitched us Six of Crows, it was a hard pitch
I
for
don't want to
people,
look
and
it
she had to
up.
be like, all right, look at this, and da da da.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like she wrote Shadow and Bone in thinking that Six of Crows would come out of that. It wasn't
So
planned, basically.
I feel like maybe this was like a pre-character then.
It could have been
Um,
a character that she just wrote in here, and then when
yeah.
she was
And
exploring
then he
Six of
like,
Crows, went back to
yeah.
things. So that's what it feels like, which is
Yeah.
great, because for us, we don't even know that. Like, me and
Mhm.
you didn't know that, and like for us, it's like, oh my god, everything comes seamless, and it feels like she set everything up. But in reality, which is like really impressive. In reality, she wrote Shadow and Bone first, wrote Six of Crows, and then went off of whatever was already established. You can't go back and change it, because you're making the
Mm-mm.
story happen after. So she
Right.
has to take everything she did, whether she liked it or not, and make it into something else. I
Mhm.
mean, not something else entirely, but make it feel like the same of a piece. That's really hard. I was really
Yeah.
impressed by that.
Yeah. Also, we learned in this panel that her name is Jenya, not Genya.
Oh my God, yeah.
The two of us were like, what?
Yeah, and the person that moderated the panel, who was amazing, was like, Mateus? Or when she was like, she questioned it too. She was like,
Oh, yeah.
Mathis? And then she went, Mateus? Maybe? And then Leigh was like, yeah, it's Mateus. Or Matthias. Fuck, is it Matthias or Mateus? I think it's Matthias.
I think it's
I listened to the
Matthias.
audio. It's
Yeah.
Matthias, which is great, because I listened to the audiobook. And I was going to say the audiobook of Shadow and Bone that I'm listening to or Siege and Storm, is awesome, because she does all the like accents and stuff for the
That's cool.
names and
That's
things.
cool.
Because I think Leigh mentioned it. What is it? Is this like Dutch history she based this off of, or Russian?
I
She
think this one
mentioned
is
something.
Russian. Yeah. I think in the back of book interview for Shadow and Bone, she talks about Russian. But she does say like Ketterdam was like, that was more Dutch, because that was like Amsterdam. Because
Okay.
she talked about like New York being like New Amsterdam. So like the
Yes.
cities I think are more. So yeah, that's true. Because
I know.
she was very big on like research, she said, and like
Yes.
history, and like putting that into her novels, which was cool.
Well, I was gonna say one more thing about the panel. I mean, I think it's great we're talking about the panel here, because this is relevant to the audience.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed how she's, like we said, she's very well spoken. She also like says like she grew up in California, she lives in LA. She's deep into the Hollywood world. She wants to eventually write a screenplay. So she's very professional in that, and especially as an established author. And I think she even mentioned she's had they mentioned she has a TED Talk. Like she is very deep into this knowledge. I think that no tea, no shade. I think that she is what Victoria Aveyard is trying to be. And But anyway, I really loved, she was giving advice for writers, and she talked about a lot about she's like, I'm really good at writing like first chapters and the world building and that, but it's like authors will talk about the mushy middle, the middle part.
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
like, oh, it's so interesting that she said that, because that was definitely one of our comments from Shadow and Bone was the middle. We were like, oh, the middle was rough. And obviously she's gotten better, and I thought she got better with Six of Crows, but I remember that when we reviewed the second one, oh my god, Crooked Kingdom, I think you also made a comment about the middle. Like she's still working on that, you can see as it goes through.
That's so true. Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting that she said that. And then she also mentioned what was that thing I was gonna say that she mentioned? The mushy middle.
The don't be a tourist.
Oh, I loved that too. Oh my god, that was a great comment. So she also made a comment about like fantasy. Was it about fantasy worlds or just in general in writing?
I think it was in general, but like specifically fantasy worlds.
She was saying, like, I don't want to say as elegantly as she said it.
I know.
But she was talking about how like in a lot of these fantasy worlds they use poverty as like a glorified thing, with the main character being like, I came from nothing and now I'm gonna be fighting for the throne and things. But like she's like, a lot of it feels unauthentic, and it feels like you're being a tourist in an area that you don't know anything about, and you're like, you don't know how it feels to have nothing. And so then you try to write it and it's unauthentic and it feels like you're being a tourist in an area you don't know. I just love the way that she said that. And so that was a really cool comment that she made about like just fantasy work in general. And I was like, yeah. And then immediately Leigh was like, Quicksilver. And I was like, yes, Quicksilver. I was like, that's exactly right. Like it's things like that. I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. Now I want to like dissect all these things I'm reading, and I'm like, no wonder like things feel inauthentic or in some way. So that was cool. And then she mentioned her research and how like, oh, I remember the other thing I liked. She mentioned that she loves to like deep dive into research and like really getting the inspiration from things. And knowing your things. And she's just like, don't ever think that doing your research as a writer is like you're distracting yourself or getting away from like the task. Like all of that is valuable, and you are doing things that are helpful to you because it'll inspire you for another idea. But that like you'll know the things that you're doing that are distracting yourself.
That
like aren't actually being helpful to you. But research is not one of them. Unless if you're researching things and you're going down a rabbit hole and you're just like distracting yourself because you don't want to look at what you want to look at.
Yeah, because she made a comment that was like, sometimes people will start to do research, like, and I'm doing air quotes because like they're saying that they're like doing research, but it really is just they don't want to write, or like they're stuck writing and they're not using it like beneficially. And I thought that was like, it was an interesting distinction. And I think there are definitely people who are like, yeah, I'm researching, like, yeah, I need to know. And it's just like, no, just write it. Like you could research and then you write it, So
yeah. But she was saying, like, it's okay, like if you're generally researching, because, like, it could inspire you for something else and, like, give you a nugget that you didn't think of. And then you could be taking a shower and then you're thinking about it and, like, oh my God, that's it. And you get the idea. And then she still mentioned something that, like, example of that I don't remember. And another thing I really loved that she talked about, because I talked about Six of Crows a lot, like we said, and she talked about Nina and how she was saying, was the easiest character for her Matthias, she said?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Nina was the hardest. And she said that Nina came across very boring at first, just like a sorceress, and she couldn't find her. And then she was like, then it was the moment that Kaz visits Nina, and she even described it like she wrote the, like, it was probably the same exact line.
And she like did the action. It was
She's like,
great.
Nina slips off her slippers, and she's eating a cake, and the crumbs go onto her cleavage, and Kaz is like, you have crumbs in your cleavage, and she's like, I don't care, and keeps eating. And then
Mm-hmm.
she's like, that's Nina, I found her. And I was like, that's so, I love it. Like, I love these nuggets of the authors talking about
Yeah.
this stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
it makes the characters more like, like wholesome to you.
Mhm. And I loved that. So she got the question, of course, like, which one are you? And she was like, I'm all of them. And I like that she said, like, she's all of them kind of like now, future, past in a way. Like, she's like, Kaz is kind of who, like, she aspires to be, like, with her disability and everything. And, like Nina's, like, the feisty confidence one that, like, she is, like, when she needs to be. I just really liked how she put that all together, too.
Yeah, that was so cool. And I loved her journey with talking about Cass because if you don't know listening, Leigh does use a cane for her disability, and she didn't realize when she said when she was writing it that as she's writing Kaz's character and the confidence that he has, like he's just coming down the street with the cane and people are afraid of him and he doesn't let his disability hold himself back. She's just like, wow, I didn't realize I was probably like healing my own inner like turmoil
Right.
and trauma
Right.
about this
Like,
for myself through this character. I was like,
mm-hmm.
that's so cool. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's like a journey you went on with yourself that you didn't realize you were gonna have while writing, and it just came across on the page on like subconsciously.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, really well. So,
Really
very
well.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah, was there anything else from the panel that we liked from her?
Um, hmm.
I'm trying to like rack my brain. She just was
Yeah, like the
really cool.
highlights.
She was really, really cool. Um,
They talked a little bit about her, like, ninth house, um, which was, like, intriguing. So we might, like, dip our toes into that, see.
yeah, I had some friends that they didn't like it. They didn't finish it.
So the first one sounds kind of similar to a Kelly Andrew that you had me read.
The Whispering Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it's like the academic and, people are dying, bad things are happening. So I was like intrigued. I didn't actually love that book, The Whispering Dark, but, and Leigh talked a lot about like her horror projects and like writing gory things, and that's not for me. So I feel like maybe I could try the first book, but may not like all three. So.
Yeah. She was saying like that was so interesting because like the Ninth House trilogy she was saying is inspired by her own experiences in a secret society at Yale. And I
Yeah.
felt like I was like, I need you to go more into this. Like, I don't know what you're like, what do you mean you
Right.
were in a secret society at Yale University?
Right.
Like, what happened? And so that was like, that's okay.
It was,
The covers are
yeah.
interesting, so maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But they
Yeah.
are adult, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We
Okay.
also have a friend who, I don't know if they've ever told you this story, but they recently in the last couple years were taken to a secret society and like shown things,
I was
and
not. I did not know
it
this.
was so intriguing, because it was like, wow, I didn't know those things like exist, but like it's New York, so of course they exist. But I'll have to have them tell you about it. It's a time.
That's
But
crazy. Yeah, because
that's
Leigh
all I
was
could
going
think
more
of.
into that's crazy. Because yeah, Leigh was going more into like the history and like what how they started as like
Oh,
a
like
thing
a
against prohibition.
prohibition. Yeah.
And I was like, girl, you know a lot about like obviously she does her research.
Uh-huh.
But it was like crazy, and I was like, what a way to pitch it. And then there's the other
Mm.
one that that they didn't talk
Oh,
about at all. The
no, they didn't. The
Familiars
rabbit
one.
one? Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't talk about that one at all. So interesting. I was like, huh. I wonder like
Yeah.
what's hitting and what's not hitting
Yeah.
for people. But yeah, and then she has a picture book coming, which I was like, it's always hard
Yeah,
for authors
that's the
to
one we
jump
saw,
genres.
right?
I think
We
so.
saw it
Yeah.
at okay. Yeah, that was odd. I don't know.
It's authors try it and it doesn't always work. But I will say, forgot to mention what she said about revisiting the Grishaverse. She said that there is a big ending at it was King of Scars, right?
So whatever the
Like
second
that.
one is called. something
Wolf
wolves
King or something.
something.
Like
Yeah.
she said that there's a door left open, and she's like, that's, it's easy for her to pick up from there. So once we
Yeah.
get to read that, I think it'll be interesting that we could revisit that here, because we're gonna
Yeah.
definitely read those. We're gonna finish
Mhm.
out the Grishaverse,
Mhm.
and then I think if we read her other books, it probably won't be with the podcast or with the book club.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Just
we'll move
to
on
see.
from
Yeah.
Grisha. Yeah.
But her comment about that wolves book was interesting because she was very much calling out, like, I know that I left this open. Like, I know, like, when you read it, you're gonna see where it can go. And basically, she was admitting, like, you're gonna feel frustrated. And she was like, I had every intention to finish, but I just couldn't. So that was like an interest, like, she was totally like owning up to that. But it's also like she has the idea, so she can, like, when
Yeah.
she feels like it's right, in which she may never, but
Definitely not in the next coming years, because she said that next, obviously, her
no.
picture book's coming out, already done. Letters of Ketterdam, already done. But she is working on a graphic novel.
Mm.
That at first I thought when they were talking about it, I was like, is it a Shadow and Bone
That's what I
graphic novel?
thought.
Because like
Yeah.
everyone's doing that now.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I think it's just
No, I think it's
I think it's
original.
just separate like
Yeah.
idea. And then she is working on like Leigh mentioned, a horror project with other
Mm-hmm.
authors that hasn't been fully announced yet, but
Mm-hmm.
it's probably most likely, because she was also saying that the advice that she used to give when she was teaching was starting out with writing short stories, and like how helpful it is to write a short story and
Mm-hmm.
develop your skills like that. So I think that she has a real love for short stories.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously she's doing Letters from Ketterdam. And so that feels like what the vibe of the horror thing's gonna be, unless if it's all one story and there are people just, multiple authors are doing different chapters or something.
Oh, like a
But it
round
felt more
robin.
like but it felt like more
Yeah.
of an anthology, which makes sense for her because she has been getting very gruesome as
Yeah.
the books get on, and it feels like that's something that she definitely wants to try. So why not let her, you
Go
know?
for it. I will
Because she
not
goes between
be.
adult and YA, so why not?
Mm-hmm.
But then it's been a hot minute since a YA then, if you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know when the wolves one came out. I'd
But
have
she's
to
had
look
at
it up.
least 4 books that are adult since then.
Yeah. Yeah, she
So
really did
that's
kind of
a lot.
pivot, which is interesting.
And my coworker did ask me if she talked about the Six of Crows age thing. And I was like,
Oh,
unfortunately, they did not. And I was
no.
hoping, because I was
No.
hoping that there would be, at New York Comic Con, they have mics set up that you can come and ask questions during the panels.
Right.
And this is any panel, like even the ones with celebrities and stuff. So I was hoping for that, but apparently not BookCon. They said that people submitted questions before. No idea. Guess so.
How?
I don't know.
How?
Again, we weren't on the emails because we kept trying to get added and we didn't. But my question would have been like, I wanted her to just reiterate the importance of YA and why, essentially what you read from her interview at the back of the book, about like why she chose for these characters to be the ages that they are and the story
Mm-hmm.
that they are in.
Mm-hmm.
Just to remind everyone, because it was all adults in the room because BookCon was terrible and of not making this event more exclusive to all ages, even though it's
Although
BookCon.
there was a child on Sunday, and I was like, how did you get here?
That's good at least.
Like a 5-year-old.
Um, so yeah, interesting that we're in a room talking about young adult books and there's like, I think I heard you said that at one point. I was like, I'm so intriguing that we're in a room talking about this young adult series and there's no young adults
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
this is catered to in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, BookCon. But yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted her to like just reiterate that to people because I know that she feels passionate about it, and it would have been great if they addressed the whole thing of the ages being changed or not
Yeah.
mentioned in Six of Crows' future print runs, but
Yeah.
she didn't. So
Yeah, I
a
would
little
have liked
sad.
to hear like her, I don't want to say take on YA, but like how she feels about it, like what her relationship is with it, like what she finds important about it, just to hear.
Yeah, especially if she's gonna go back to write another story in the Grishaverse, it has to like. What if she
Right.
decided to like take that next story and make it like adult? Like that's such a that would be such a like. It'd be kind of like a slap in the face to the YA reader in that, because like then you want a YA, like 13 to 4 or 14-year-old or 14 to 15-year-old to start with Shadow and Bone and then be like, okay, you get all the way to the end of the King of Scars ones, but you can't read the adult ones yet.
Right. It would be like only catering to her original fans, you know, like as you grew with the stories, which isn't how you sell a book. You know, you want it
No,
to be timeless.
Suzanne doesn't do that.
So, yeah.
Just saying, Suzanne
Yeah.
doesn't do that. Because the importance of YA and the importance of the format that you're in and for the readers.
Yeah.
It's okay, I can go on a whole TED Talk about it for days and days and days. As an adult who reads YA. But at least I'm an adult who reads YA and goes, this is the importance of this being in the age that it is. Because YA shaped us. We know that because we felt that as kids. That it impacted us so much in our reading journey going forward, and we just related to the stories and they changed our lives. So we want that for future generations.
Right.
Just keep writing in that age and the importance of it and what teenagers need.
Right. Right.
Anyway.
Don't let the age of smut like dictate what your stories are, you know?
Which I loved because later, we'll talk about this in our BookCon episode that you can listen to. We did go to a romantasy panel and somebody had talked about, they talked about the intimacy and someone even mentioned, they're like, I forgot which author it was, maybe it was Rachel Gillig, that they love, like, they're a sucker for like the littlest things. And they mentioned Kaz and Nedge. Actually, it might have been Scarlett. That was just like they held hands and I was done. I was swooning. I was crying. And I was like, that's how we were. Like the intimacy of it was written so well that we're like, oh my God, like I'm dying just because they touched.
Right. Oh my gosh, that scene. And then we saw artwork of that scene. It was so good.
Exactly. That's the importance of it. But as a pivot, our dog has a bone that I recently got that I think looks, I am holding it up in the video. People in the audio obviously can't see this, but it looks to me exactly like what Elena's little Mortsova's stag bone would have looked like coming out of her.
Oh.
So I will probably, I have to take a picture of it next to the book and be like, look, we're here. I think I just said her name wrong too, isn't it? Elena? What's her name? Alina. So I thought that was really funny. I was like, I should have got two of these and I could have cosplayed.
Oh, you could have. Oh my God.
And I was like, I could test the theory that our group chat was talking about because our book club was like, how does she turn her head and not stab her ear? I was like, I don't know, honestly. You're 100% right.
I kind of hate it. I'm like, it can't be clean. Like, how does she keep clean?
I feel like she doesn't talk about it enough either. Like, like this entire, like this thing just changed in your body.
I don't
like
think
physically
it's in her.
changed.
You think it's in
the
her?
pictures? It's in her. I'm telling you, in the photos. No, in the photos, if it's like her skin, there's like it's in her. Like there's a part coming out of it and a part coming out the other end. Like it's like physically in her skin.
It's like a necklace.
But yeah, I think it's like physically in her skin coming out. I mean, obviously we have to wait for the TV show when we watch it, but I think I remember from the TV show pictures too. Like I think it's not a color. Here, wait, let me look it up. Alina.
I don't like that even more.
I'll show you a picture. Hold on. So it's described as a collar, but look, this is how it looks like in the show. Like it is physically in her skin. And then, okay, so then people, this is someone who like put it as a collar.
Okay.
Right?
Which, that's what I thought it was, but it like was fused together so she could never take it off. Because that was the point of the fabricator. But, I mean, if that's how it is in the show, I would assume it was approved, you know?
Oh, damn it. It's because I closed it out. Like I'm very sure the like artwork I saw on on Pinterest, it was like also infused, but maybe that could have been after. So I wonder what. Please, someone correct us. What was the original thing? Was it always infused into her skin, or was it actually a wraparound collar that was like Leigh said, it's like hammered down, I guess, into her shoulder that she can't take it off?
Oh, I think it's just like so, I don't know. I guess.
Tight around, because she said that the fabricators did something to it too, right? That
Yeah,
like
they
it's
like basically like melted it together so you can't take it off. But I
like a cage
suppose,
essentially.
yeah, I suppose Mal could have tried to smash it and they never mention trying to get it off, you know?
But if it's in her skin, then she can't.
Then yeah, that makes more sense, I guess.
It's
I never
gross.
thought about
She doesn't
that.
talk about it. I feel like she doesn't talk about it enough. Like
No, that
either way,
definitely, yeah,
whether it's in her skin or not in her skin, and just like caging her in, she doesn't talk about the uncomfortable feeling of something
right,
like new on your body
right.
that like you can't take off. She's just like she has to cover it with the scarf, and you're like,
Which, if it was when I was like thinking about it, if it was just like a collar, I was like, so you just had a big ass scarf on like all the time? Like, how did that cover it? So maybe it really is in her skin
I
because a
think it
scarf
is.
would cover easier. Because I was
And also,
literally
I think
like,
I posted one photo, the like scarf that somebody showed was smart. That it looked more of like, you know, when you have like a high rise collar, like kind of around the keftas, the way they describe them,
mm,
that like just like a high rise collar that
mm,
like kind of encloses you. So they had like kind of like a desert scarf, like when the people are in the desert, they wrap their bottom half of their face, kind of like that. Like it looked like that. So I was like, oh, that looks believable. And then
mm,
she mentions like, you know, when they get warmer, like she has to take like they're gonna have a problem. And I was like,
right.
okay, yeah, that makes sense. If it looks like a desert scarf or like something that's like keeping
Yeah.
her cool and a high collar, then yeah.
Yeah. And I
But yeah,
think
I
it
need,
might be the
yeah.
Darkling, but someone rips it off of her. And I was like, again, if it's a collar, like I'm pretty sure it's getting stuck. So
So maybe it is in her skin. I think we decided it's in her skin,
I don't like
which is
that.
so uncomfortable. Like, I was like, I feel like this should be talked about more, but it doesn't feel like it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Like,
It's
you're
fine.
right. It should be an annoying thing. Like, she should be like,
Yes.
oh, I like twitched and like there it was or something.
Yeah.
So,
Or
okay.
like someone mentioned the group in the book club. How does she turn her head and not stab herself? Or they turn her head and not scratch herself? I was like, it depends how big
Yeah.
this is. Like, I have no idea. It just was a weird choice, I think. It's just it's
Yeah.
an odd choice in storytelling. Um
I mean, especially because I imagined that the stag was ginormous. So I would think its antlers were ginormous. But hey, we're just
it
going to
is what
have
it
to
is.
suspend our disbelief or something. I don't know.
So that's a great transition to how we start this book. We left Mal and Alina, right? Alina. I don't know why I
Hmm.
always get her name wrong. We left Mal and Alina after they have decided to just abandon their country and
Hmm.
not really give a shit about what's happening
Hmm.
and go off and be lovebirds. They go to said location.
I don't know the name. I don't think we could pronounce most of these names.
I know. Well, I'm listening Crofton,
Okay.
west of Novia Zem. They go to Crofton. Um, and they are living their best lives because they got a little boarding room.
Except not
They're
really, because they're
working,
running out of money and they live in a room that has lice and or bed
but
bugs.
they're together,
But they're
and
together.
he makes little like flirty comments to her, and she has reverted back to what she used to look like because she's not using her powers. So she's basically sick all the time and
Mm.
weak, but she works in canning
Mm-hmm.
Gerda. And it doesn't last long. It's 2 weeks.
Nope.
Because the Darkling finds them very easily because
Yep.
they are children. And they used hairpins, golden hairpins that they took from the little palace, to pay their journey for each step of the journey. So
Mm-hmm.
it was easy for him to track who was
Yeah.
paying, like a little trail for themselves that they set up. And he
Yeah.
comes and he's creepy as always. And he has these nothing creatures that are, you should
Oh
listen to the audiobook.
yeah.
The way they pronounce them is pretty freaking cool.
Oh.
And I couldn't do it for you. I have to listen to it. And attack her and like bite her shoulder and give her this Harry Potter scar on her shoulder.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying Harry Potter is because somebody in our book club has a theory that the Darkling and her are connected because of this scar. And I said, okay, Harry Potter and Voldemort. I said, that's very Voldemort of you. And I was like, it could be because usually like they could heal themselves and, you know, because they're magical and stuff. But she's saying that this is not healing and like that scar is like kind of imprinted on her. And she's thinking it's because it's this like magical like creature. So like maybe that magic and the dark magic of it. But well, Alina, I mean, but like our book club members saying maybe it's more than that. And I was like, maybe.
Could be. I mean, there's definitely a connection because then we see her in the mist and he is there, and that was super freaky. And
I think that's what inspired this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was so mad at her for not saying anything. But
oh my God. I'm just
typical.
tired.
Bitch.
I'm just tired.
Tell them
She's
he's
a terrible
there.
liar.
Yeah, she is.
She is. Okay, we'll go into our thoughts on her. And yeah, so then they get captured again, and they go on to Sturmhond's ship, and we know him because of Six of Crows, which we know the entire twist before she does.
We sure do.
Because Cass figured it out, and so did we, which is funny. So I'm actually really glad that she figures out this twist not by the end of the book, because it would have been really embarrassing if me and you, like, if we knew what happens and like the author's like, you're gonna find out the twist, and we're like, well, we already know the twist. Also, I should mention as we're going through this, I'm sorry we didn't say it at the beginning, but we're going up to the end of chapter 12 for anyone in the
yes.
We should have mentioned this in the beginning, but the recap is only chapter 12 for this episode. So we go into Sturmhond's ship. This is really exciting. She's in and out of sleep because they drugged her, and she knows that she's like, I think he came into my room with two other people. And then she wakes up, and then they're going, and the Darkling, stop me at any point as well. The Darkling comes and is like, we're looking for something, and he takes out Mal to the ship, and he's like, track it. And then he has to help him track down the sea dragon because the Darkling wants Alina to have another amplifier.
Right.
And she's just like, no, we're not supposed to do that. And she has no choice. They find it. They go to kill it. And then Sturmhond does his little coup of taking back the ship that he also was running. So he's like, it wasn't really a coup because it was my ship. And she was like, but you stole the ship from a whale watcher. So, and they escape. And she gets basically captured again for like every book. She just has no free will.
Yeah.
And so then they learn that he's like, I'm gonna take you to my client, who is himself.
True. They've killed the thing though, right? They killed the serpent.
Yeah, they killed the thing.
So
they let her take scales. She has another amplifier, the fabricator of the ship. So yeah, what is the describe it to me, because I was also lost. What is the new amplifier? Yeah, what does she end up doing?
So I'm pretty sure she puts it like a bangle, essentially, like around her wrist. But if it's similar to the collar, is it embedded in her skin? Like,
it didn't sound like it. It did sound like a bangle. It sounded like they just secured it to her, like a bangle.
It's like 6 scales, I think, and I imagine they're kind of large. And
I didn't understand that either.
Right? She had so many, but she hides it. Like, she can't really hide the other one, but she really hides. She doesn't want people to know that
she has 2 amplifiers because then they would think that she's like crazy,
right?
Which, like, she could be.
And then she has this book that is the Book of Saints that the apparat gave her.
Yes, the little red book.
But the Darkling had it for a minute, and now she has it back. But then what?
Yeah, because Sturmhond stole it.
Right. Did you get to the part where I think I wrote this in the book club? I was like, so the pages, like, they go in the water, and the book is fine? Like, what?
They do go in the water because the thing shifts later on. That is a great point and a plot hole for sure. That is definitely a plot hole.
But, I mean,
there's no way that's not.
They've already seen the important page, so there's a saint. What saint is it? I
Saint
forgot.
a Saint no Saint with a J. Yeah. There's a saint that drew three of these creatures
Three,
together.
right. So
So we learn it's
there's
the Deathly Hallows. It's Harry Potter again.
mm-hmm,
And she most likely needs to get the third one, which is a phoenix, essentially. They
which
call it
is
a
also
firebird.
Harry Potter. Yes.
Yes.
Um it's the bird of Ravka. So yeah, and she and Mal have a little disagreement about if they go after this or not. She
They're
decides
gonna go after it.
yes, obviously, and she needs Mal. I think I'm team that Mal has some kind of power with his tracking.
Yeah, there's
Like it's
something
not
there, right?
just it's not just normal. Like there's some supernatural something. I don't know if
I
it's a
wonder
Grisha
what though.
thing. Right. I hope we find out.
This it's only been Grisha and the Athraki or whatever those people are.
Is that the I never. So here's the thing: we still don't understand the difference between like the healers, the heartrenders, the
Oh, the Grisha?
fabricators. Yeah,
Yeah, it
like.
is very hard to wrap your head around, even at this point when we've been to two different series with it.
So I kind of stopped trying. Um, Even the different like kefta that they wear that are different colors, I'm just like, okay, they have.
Well, that I actually would love. I wish they put that in the beginning of the book with the
Oh, actually, that would be really nice.
thing. No, the Ethraki or one of the Grisha. That's what I'm thinking of then. Yeah, so we only really know Grisha, so it'd be interesting to learn about
He
why
think they.
Mal is so special in
Mm-hmm.
this.
Maybe he's a
But yeah,
saint.
they finally have their come to Jesus moment, and she realizes that she should probably save the country as she's the only person who could do it. Like, no shit. Thank you for finally getting your want. I was very happy. I texted Leigh as well. I was like, finally, or I put in the group chat. I think I said, this is really a sad moment, but I'm happy that she finally found her reason. And I was like, the
Mm,
fact that this took a book and a half to find her reason to want to do this, but I get it. It's like setting her up because she was just like a regular person and she just had no investment in this country or the people or anything, especially because
yeah,
she was just like raised from nothing. And then she
yeah.
just like is thrown into this thing and like prodded at and like has magic all of a sudden. Like it's a lot to like process to like want to care about
Mm.
saving, and we're so used to characters that just
She's
like, yeah, we're gonna save everything.
right, and she's not necessarily like she's powerful, but she doesn't necessarily like know how to control her power. I would say
Yeah.
like she's. I wouldn't trust her. You know?
Yeah, she doesn't know what she's doing. She has no idea what she's doing.
Yeah.
And that was the main question in our book club. And people were like, so what is her power? Like, is it just like she just shines light and like she's a light bulb that turns on? Does she have
Right.
heat? Like she just throws balls of light? Like how does it come out of her too? I'm like, is it like
Yeah.
Spider-Man? You just see like light up her arm and just come out of her? Like
Yeah.
it's very confusing the
I think,
need, I guess, for
yeah.
her thing
I
other
feel
than the
like
fold.
the serpent, I think, brought the heat
Oh, that would make
element.
sense.
I
That makes
think.
sense. Like the dragon
Um,
aspect.
yeah. So I'm like curious what the phoenix will add to it.
Real fired.
Maybe. Who knows? Um, but yeah, her power is not very well defined, and it is kind of weird to be like, oh, you can blind people. Like what? I mean, obviously she's very helpful getting through the fold, which they have to do again because she can fight off the
She does it like 5 times.
yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of back and forth. Um and that's what we were talking about earlier. They're going through the fold and the Volcra are coming and they're like fighting them off. And then the other creepy creatures that are like new to the Darkling, which I actually think it's really cool that now he has like a limitation. Like how she
Yes.
notices that he's being like drained by them.
She's like, he's not. I love how she pointed it out to Nikolai Stormhond. That she just was like, he's not more like people are taking it as he's been more powerful now. And she's like, no, it's actually like draining him. It's actually
Yeah.
not helping him. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's great information. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it is. So,
We forgot to
hopefully.
mention the flying ship as well, Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
That was sick. That was so sick. I was like, I love this man. That was a great storytelling
That was
device. I
great.
loved it. But I especially love those moments of going into the fold because, like I said, she finally found her why, and it was interesting to see, like, you know, obviously from book one, I predicted it before they even said it, you know, here on the podcast, that like the Volcra were the people that were taken by the
People.
fold, and
Uh-huh.
she can hear them. So I'm like, okay, I feel like
Oh.
this is alluding to her eventually being able to like heal the Volcra maybe with her powers. And
Uh-huh.
she doesn't, again, like you said, she doesn't really know the extent. She doesn't really know how to use her powers. She doesn't know what she
No.
could do with them. So it's like
Right.
maybe she can use them to like heal them and make them human again. Or when she destroys the fold, they become human again. That was so heartbreaking that she would hear their human cries. And
Yeah.
then when she went to the church and she
No.
saw the people that died and all of their she was like, I need to commit them to memory. I was like, yes, girl, you found your why and you found your reason for you to care about your own powers. It feels like before she didn't care about her own powers because she does not, it's foreign to her. She's like, yeah, this is
Yeah, she
happening.
didn't
But then it's been
understand.
used against her too. Like essentially, so, okay, I'm starting to like her more now. And so like I'm understanding her more. Like how much it was used against her and like just used as like she was used as like a pawn. So like of course she's gonna like resent her powers in a way. She's not gonna feel like they're a part of her like the other Grisha have felt because they grew up with it. And
Right.
so it's a different experience for her. So it's interesting now that like now she's like she wants to rope that in. And I think that also led to her decision to want to be the leader of the Grisha in the second army. And I was like, yes, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think she still has a ways to go,
Oh, 100%.
but
A book and a half.
yeah. But you're right. She has direction and she has a little more confidence, or you know, she's standing up for herself and for people. Like when the what's his name? Fader, I think, comes to the
Oh
camp.
yeah, that soldier that saved her from the first book from the Fjordans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, I need to hear him out. We need to like these people are all outcasts now. Because I guess the Grisha, they didn't trust them after.
Yeah, once the Darkling did his little coup thing and obviously extended the fold, and then what is it now?
The
Genya?
king. Oh, Genya. Yeah.
Genya poisoned the king. Like they don't trust the Grisha, and they actually killed some Grisha, and so a
Yeah.
lot of them fled. And so basically the same sentiment of what we see in Six of Crows of how other people view the Grisha. That's normally not how they view them in Ravka, and they started to like easily turned. And that's what makes sense that this is a civil war or starting up because it was such a fragile peace then that was easily disrupted. The moment that something bad happened, they turned and looked at their neighbors differently, and that's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, where we leave off is so Sturmhond, they kind of crash in his flying ship and
Wig off. Suddenly I'm a prince. And she punches him. Yes, queen.
He is not who he says he is, which we knew all along. But she gets the reveal and she is not happy about it. I thought it was so funny, like the way it was described. And she's like, his nose is different. Like his voice is coming out of a face that I don't know.
She's like his chin dropped too. Like she already, and they mentioned it earlier. I like how she put it in that like she said like in the writing that when she looks at his face, it looks wrong. Like she said that like before the face reveal, like it just looks off. And it's like because he's not like they're not as good of a tailor as Genya. So like that's so interesting that I was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's very cool. So then he has this grand plan that basically he wants to go and kind of claim the throne because he thinks that his brother isn't up for it, is kind of not a loser, but he's just kind of a playboy. Yeah.
Doesn't care about the throne. He's like his father, just wants to drink.
Right.
But also before you get there, I wanted to read the quote. It literally said, I couldn't help myself. I hauled off and punched him in the face. And it was the end of a chapter. And
it was.
You have no idea how happy I was. I was like, that's the best way to end a chapter.
And I love that it was a punch and not just like a slap, you know?
Yes.
I feel like there's a difference.
Yes. And she like it felt like her being so worked up from this entire like 2 weeks of everything that she's gone through, people just lying to her and her just like things happened. So much happened around her. Like she didn't really do
Mm-hmm.
anything. Things happened around
Mm-hmm.
her that she
Mm-hmm.
just was so fed up that she just punched him. And I was
She
like, that was
punched him.
perfect.
Yeah.
That was
And
perfect.
I think even Mel is like, I'm glad you did that. And it's like, he didn't do it. She did it. Which is
Yeah.
great.
But yeah, you're right. So then yeah, he wants to take the throne from his brother. And he also wants to marry Alina
Her.
and
Yeah.
forge their connections, which is a very smart idea. But her being Mal's but maybe. I never know with her. Um
I
she
don't
said no,
know.
obviously. Or she doesn't want to marry anyone, I think, right now, which makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then, and she wants control of the second army, and they have to go back to the king and queen and talk about all of this and save Ravka
Mm-hmm.
from Dark
And
Flame.
so there's a bit where we get quite a show. Like they're traveling and she's like learning this new side of Nikolai, who's like very much a sweet talker and just a charmer. And, you know, he's putting moves on her too. And then like the people are following them and they think that she's a saint. So they're calling her Sancta Alina. And she's like, I don't want that. And it's a lot. And then, of course, she's got Mal, who's like not having a great time, but like wants to
He wants
protect
to
her.
leave. He's
Yeah.
having a Gale moment. He's like, why are we doing this? He's like, let's just go. And she's just like, no, we gotta save the country. And he's like, why? She's like, I'm still back there. But it's just because
Yeah.
he doesn't see his purpose yet. And I think that you're right.
Yeah.
There's a bigger purpose for him that he's finding.
I also like it hurts my heart that what the Darkling said. He says that Mal will never fully understand her because like he'll never know what her power like does to her and how like she's feeling it like when she can't use her power, like it affects her. And like Mal doesn't know that because he can't experience that firsthand. So she's keeping things from him or she's saying that she's fine and she's not. And there's this like fissure happening and it's hard because it's so real. Like it's such a true like growing apart from people. But I also like part of me feels for Mal because he
I
is
feel
so
so bad.
worried about her. Yeah, he's so worried about her and like she's not really being reckless, but like she's getting her grand ideas and he's still trying to be like realistic about it. So I feel like I had a moment where I was like, I think I'm like looking at this like as an adult and I'm like, yeah, like adult me is on Mal's side, but like youth me may not have been, you know, more on like the romance side, sure. But I would have been like, no, get rid of him. Like he's holding you back. But no,
I
he's
loved the romance moment that she finally gave them that we get
yeah.
here. And I love the way they describe it too, because it's like they're at the party before they have to go back to the king and queen, like for the first introduction, and they're at like a countess house or something. And she goes outside and she's like, all right, I'm done for the night. And Nikolai comes out and like is trying to convince her not to. And she describes, oh my God, wait. I have the book. I would love to just read it to you real quick. Okay, I found it. So she says, as I ascended the stair steps, I looked back over my shoulder. Nikolai still hovered in the doorway. He wore full military dress, a pale blue slash across his chest. The light from the parlor glinted off his medals and gilded the edges of his golden hair. He was playing the role of the polished prince knight, but standing there, he just looked like a lonely boy who didn't want to return to a party by
Mm,
himself. And then she also mentions later when like the brother and him talk that you know she forgets that they're like the same age, like he's only a couple years older. And so I
uh-huh.
just thought I loved that description of like he just looked like a lonely boy who didn't want to return to a party by himself. Like she was able to
Yeah.
strip back and really see him, and especially
Yeah.
because she says to him like, why can't you ever be yourself? And he probably doesn't even know who he is anymore because of all the roles
Right.
he's playing. Oh my God, I
Right.
love this character. I don't
It's
even know why I
funny.
started this. I forgot why I started this, but I just really loved that.
No. And that's such like it's a Kaz moment too, right? So I feel like this you can see the similarities between Sturmond and Kaz, and I just think that she writes those characters so well. I think she writes them the best. And
Yes.
you just love them. Like you catch yourself like grinning when he's like chit-chatting, but then you have like those real moments like you just read and you're like, "Oh my gosh, like this is so like heartbreaking that they're just a kid." And like is just like that too. Like
It's just a
when
kid.
when he calls Jesper Jordy, you're just like, "Oh. Oh."
It's just a
So
kid.
she's very good at that.
Yeah. Well, oh, I think I was alluding to the romance that thing came after was like their moment together and she flirted with him and he flirted and they kissed and I was like, oh, this is what I was looking for because like yes, I think I am like confused by the romance and like I'm like, is this part of the story? Is this not part of the story? Like, am I supposed to pay attention to this or not? Um, so
I
I
don't
think that
think
that was really
it's
great. I don't think
I don't
it's
think it's
a thing
going
that
anywhere. Like
it's not something like that matters as much in the
yeah.
scale of the story. And I think I have to
Yeah.
adjust my thought on it because I think it's maybe just because she was like kissing everyone. And I was like, is this something I'm supposed to like care about? Like, I don't really care about it. Am I supposed to?
And
Am I
I
not
think,
supposed to?
right, I think when it was coming out too, like we were in the love triangle like era.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would have made more of an impact back then. We would have been like clinging to each moment with each guy, and now we're just kind of like sussing it out.
Yeah, we're
And
like,
I
what's
think
creepy and what do we care about?
right, and we're like, what's the bigger picture here? And like who's gonna grow, who's not, kind of thing. And I'm just prepared for it not to be like a cut and dry. It's not going to be like a Katniss and Peeta, right? Like it's not going to be a
Mm-mm.
beautiful thing. So it just has to be okay,
Yeah, and I'm stealing from my coworker who told me this, that I told you that she's like, each one, because I told her, I was like, do I have to pay attention to this darkling? Like, this is creepy. She was like, no, it's creepy. But she's just like, each one just represents a different path that she could have gone through.
Mm.
And so like she has to choose that own path for her.
Mm-hmm.
So like whether I don't know if she's gonna end up with any of them in the end.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think for me, like that moment too of the way she saw Nikolai, I was like, okay, this doesn't feel like a love triangle setup. Like this just feels like she sees him and they're gonna have maybe a close relationship and she says he's handsome and they kiss and whatever. But then she says to Matt, I know what a real kiss is. So it like does feel like it's probably just gonna be her and Mal in the end. But I needed that moment from the author and I was very happy to get it because it made me be like, okay, I can stop like
Mm-hmm.
focusing on that because I wasn't sure what you wanted me to focus on. Not that I'm looking for it and like I need
Mm-hmm.
it. I don't need it in these stories.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I was just so conflicted with the whole Darkling thing and him just like being predatory and kissing her and then
Yeah.
then we get the next chapter, Nikolai kisses her for the show of things. I just was like, what am I supposed to like, what is happening? So I was
What
happy
is
with that where I'm
happening?
like, I can just move on. Like they're teenagers, they don't know what they want, and she has all this
Right.
stuff going on. So like
Right.
that's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have to like have. I think it's more of like I wanted to make sure I didn't have to like make room for sympathy for the Darkling. Um,
Mm.
because like if you're setting up a love story,
Yeah.
like then there's a part of me being like, okay, then I have to like open my mind to that in a way and being like, okay, why is he being
Mm-hmm.
introduced as a love interest and what love story and what are you supposed to think of? So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I needed to know as a reader, do I need to keep my mind open or can I just like shut it and be like, no, he's evil? And I
Yeah,
think
he bad.
I confirmed that where he's just evil.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Um so it's funny because we've talked all of this, and yet we were like, nothing's happening. Like, this book is slow.
It was. It was till the end. I think it was until I felt like it picked up for me when they like the flying, like once we get to the flying ship
Yeah.
and then like from there forward, it picked up. But yeah, before
Yeah.
that, I just was like, so she's just gonna get kidnapped this whole book, like every 5 chapters, and like she's not gonna do
Mm-hmm.
anything. But then
Mm-hmm.
once that happened, I did feel like it picked up for me.
Yeah. I think, or I hope that there's going to be a little more of her like learning how to lead and what it means for her to be with the Second Army and things like that. And we'll see that advance. And I'm guessing like by the end, like are her and Mal gonna go off again on their own to find this bird? I don't know.
Probably.
Or is he just gonna go? Like what's it gonna be?
I mean, the third cover is the bird. We didn't even
Yeah.
talk about that. All the
Yeah.
covers are each one. So yeah, most likely that third book is going to be about the bird. Which
Yeah.
is crazy that this book is the dragon or the sea dragon. But I feel like we were barely with it.
Yeah, we really, oh my gosh. And someone commented, they were like, it took months to find the stag and like days to find like a sea dragon that they didn't even think was a real creature. What?
I guess because it was like easier because you're not like trekking through the snow and like just walking
Yeah.
around aimlessly. Like you're on a boat and you could
Yeah.
like, but yeah, at the same time, you're right. It's an entire sea and the thing could be moving. You could have searched
Mm-hmm.
one area and it already went back and went somebody else. So like it
Yeah.
is constantly moving. So yeah, that was a little wild.
I feel like they got lucky, but whatever.
They had Mal and his
Um,
magical power that hasn't been
they,
said.
right, right.
He did
Um,
find the other one.
he's gonna find the next one. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that the third one was introduced so early in the second book. Like, I just felt like it was flashed like right there at us, and I was like, you don't want to build this up a bit? Like, I don't know, but we'll find out.
We'll find out. So, any other thoughts from this first part of the book before we go on to finish reading?
Well, what about you? Do you have any predictions? What do you think's gonna happen?
Um, I mean, obviously, like we need more of like the Civil War part to happen. Obviously, because we know this happens because of Six of Crows. So this feels like very
The
much the
king,
beginning.
the king
Like
has
the
to
king has to
die.
die.
Yeah,
But also just between like the first and second army and like the things that they're already talking about. Um, yeah, I'm curious if book three's big battle is going to be her destroying the fold and like her up against the Darkling, or are they going to be like multiple parts? Is this just like one fight? Like, how are we doing this? Like, I don't know. Like, are we just getting like a Game of Thrones thing where it's one big fight at the
okay.
end? Like I
Yeah.
don't know what that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
because I
Mm-hmm.
think obviously the fold has to be destroyed no matter what. That's the main thing from the first book that we got to get rid of. And
Right,
then
because
yeah, and
we don't hear about it in Six of Crows, right?
no, it's no, they don't mention it
Yeah.
at all. They just talk about the war. So, and then Nikolai obviously we know becomes king. So there's that. Um, yeah, and then like I said, I think it'd be interesting to see if she could figure out a way to help the Volcra as well because it's
Yeah.
clearly something bothering her,
Yeah.
and
I
I think
like that
that's meant for a
theory.
reason. Yeah, it's mentioned for a reason. So.
What is the power of the bird?
What? Oh, a bird, a Volcra, wings.
Maybe.
What is your predictions?
I feel like this might be dark. Does the Darkling kill his mom? Like, does Bagra
Oh, probably. It's probably like this
get
dramatic moment.
axed? Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious when does he come back? And how does that go down? I think she's gonna see him again, like in a shadow or something, maybe once or twice
Mm-hmm.
before we actually see him again, which is kind of interesting. I'm very curious, like what is going on with the priest. I still don't know if he's good or bad. I don't understand him.
I took it as like he's just a fanatic. Like he not necessarily good or bad, but he's just doing what he thinks is right.
Yeah,
Because I think he truly believes he's a saint. So like
yeah.
I don't think he's like a spy for the Darkling. I think like
No,
he
yeah.
was shown
I
this like that she came to the little palace and he's like, oh my God, it's a saint, it's my calling. I have to help her whatever way possible.
That
And
makes
like
sense.
that might end up helping her or not because fanatics can go either way. So
Hmm. Hmm.
it's just there.
So he'll probably die in a blaze of glory. I don't know.
Or
Um,
not show up again and that's it.
yeah. But yeah, I don't dislike the book, but I'm also not like gung ho with it. So I'm just kind of like,
I think switching
oh,
to audio also helped me because I have 4 hours left now that we're halfway through.
oh,
So I was
yeah,
like, oh, I'm like eating this book up and it's a lot. So I was like, I am very proud of it. So Lee and I normally always listen to our books on audio for this,
we
but
do.
we both
This
had the
is,
physical
yeah,
copies. So
yeah,
we said we're reading it physical because we have them, we own them, even though like trophy book. We get trophy books all the time. We could have just done
We
the same
do.
thing.
We do.
We're like, no, we're doing it. And it
We were
didn't work out
committed.
for me because I did not have time. So the
No.
audiobook is better. Anyway, that's a wrap on Siege and Storm Part 1 for our breakdown. The book does not have parts. So in our next full-length episode, we will talk about the rest of the book, and then we'll keep going with the third book in the series and da 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 da. And make sure to join us on the app Fable to be able to follow
Faithful.
along with it as we read. As we mentioned in the beginning, you can find us by just looking up Fae Tales. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok. And I will mention on
And
Instagram, we actually have and YouTube. Thank
you
you.
too.
And on Instagram, we have done a lot of giveaways. So, make sure to check us out on
Stay
Instagram. Just
tuned.
saying, if you want to do a
Mm-hmm.
giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we have some really exciting stuff coming your way. Very excited, like fun mini episodes, fun full-length episodes. So give us a follow. Let us know what you're reading. Let us know what you liked and don't like, and definitely let us know your opinions on Siege and Storm by Leigh
Cool.
Bardugo. So we hope that you enjoy the rest of the book. If you haven't finished the book yet, wish us luck as we endeavor on the rest of the book, and happy reading.
Happy reading.